What it do? Snackers, Snackettes, and Snack Extras. It's your boy Gage. I'm here with the other Gage.
Apparently, the other Gage.
The other Gage. Jokes, change the name. Look at that. Sin and very special guest, Jerry, the franchise Gaylord. What up, bro?
Yo, thanks for having me. Actually, before we go any further, I'm just going to put this up top. I have not seen Ant-Man. I know y'all did the Spoiler Boys.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen it. I'm just putting it out there in the streets. Streets.
We're not even going to discuss it today. Maybe a little fallout, but like nothing like
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like nothing like that.
No.
Good to see you, Robert James. What's up?
Not really. Not really.
Yes, Jokes has to have a different name to be on time. That's how that works. That's how it works. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, Snack X's, you are now tuned in to Loaded Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about all kinds of things that are happening in pop culture. And today, we have a lot to discuss. But first and foremost, we're going to talk about our good friend, Jerry, the franchise with a Z, Gaylord. Listen, I appreciate you really taking the time to hang out with us. I know we got a time difference here, and that kind of sometimes causes a little, like, we got to hurry up and try to make some things happen and all of that. I really do appreciate you. More than that, I appreciate Penny letting you.
Yeah, she's the best. And
no
hello
doubt
to everyone with this hand, so y'all can see it.
There it is.
This hand's out.
It is.
Hi,
just a little bit. Yeah, man, Jerry. So recently you posted. Let's do this before we even get there. Before we get there, I have questions for you.
I got answers.
Wonderful. I know, Jerry, that you are an artiste, that you have this incredible ability to put things on paper and make them wonderful for other people to see. Things that a lot of the rest of us can't do. What up, Penny? How do you classify yourself? Do you classify yourself as an artist, as an illustrator, what do you, or do you just like tick all the boxes? What's up, Heather? What industry are you in?
I would say I'm an entertainment artist. Like I usually refer to myself as story and development artist, or also. But sometimes I'll throw the comic book artist / on the side, but generally I say story and development. So like, story art and character designs. Yeah. That kind of thing.
How long would you say you felt like you had fit into that category?
I would say the last maybe like 2 or 3 years, I've been pretty confident with that. I would have said, back in like 2017, like I would have said I was a storyboard artist. But I think that my sort of like practical knowledge of storyboarding and story through, as far as like television and film goes, was limited. Obviously, like, I'm still learning like everybody else, but sure. It's I definitely feel comfortable, calling myself a story artist and beyond. Writing and I guess I'm a storyteller. So like whatever form that takes.
Okay, I dig that. Whether it's visual or not, there's a little more to it than that.
Yeah. I think that ultimately, like, that's what my heart is, like visual storytelling. And so even as a writer, my writing is about getting to the visual part of it. It's more of like how the industry kind of works, kind of thing.
Has the way that the industry works from the inside looking out now, right? because for years, like we know each other a long time. It's been a little more outside looking in, and then
Mm-hmm.
like straddling the window, like kind of breaking through, like 1 foot in the doorway, 1 foot out the doorway, or 1 foot in the window, 1 foot out, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has or how has your knowledge as an insider, like has it changed your perception or your perspectives in any ways about the industry and how it works and so forth?
Uh, I think the biggest thing that it has changed, like kind of being inside the industry, is like it might be surprising, but I think like my take on, like when people see something, TV show, movie, what have you, and they go, "Oh, that's terrible," and then they start going on it like immediately. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
My my
Like
take on that
for
is
instance,
probably
like
different.
that first Sonic trailer.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, people was hot. What's up, Saint?
people
Very.
were hot. People were hot. And it, like there's a lot of like I didn't work on that, but like I know that there's a lot of steps. By the time you see a trailer, like so much has gone into what that character looks like,
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, like people are always trying to do the thing that they think is best, that will be best
sure.
for that piece of entertainment.
Yeah,
Ultimately, they're like, I thought you would like it.
yeah,
Like at the end of the day, like that's what they're going for, and what they kind of feel people are ready for, to
yeah.
try to appeal to a mass audience, which is a tough thing. It's
Did
tough to do.
being that we're discussing that as something that is maybe something that's changed, is it where do you recall sitting on that side of it where like you would see something, maybe see the art reveal for the first time, be like, what are they doing? Why'd they do it like that? Like where listen, listen, me and the team just had a whole like an hour-long discussion about how I'm a hater. But not like them calling me a hater, like me just saying, like, no, I know there are things that just like it is what it is. Like I'm not,
Mhm.
but like, did you used to kind of sit on that side, and now with a certain level of insider knowledge, are
Mhm.
you a little bit less prone to those kind of quick judgmental or snap, judgments of what they put in front of you the first time you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Like I know that like the like when Fox was doing X-Men like back in the day, and I think this is it's safe, and I'll probably in the majority with comic book fans, like the black outfits happen, and like that was kind of like the route that they went for the whole Fox X-Men thing. And
Yeah,
like for me, I was just like, like I got the joke of, oh,
sure.
did you want to do spandex? Like I get that, and I also know that's kind of where like the mass audience was. But for me, I was like, yo, let's see some super suits,
What's up with
and so
some yellow
stuff.
spandex? Like,
Where's
yeah,
my
Yeah,
super
like your
suit?
answer to that question was absolutely, I want the yellow spandex.
Right.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I think that stuff like that, I think will always be really, really kind of heavy, But I think at the end of the day, like those decisions get made, and it's not because the people involved don't like the comic stuff necessarily. I mean, that could be the case. That could very
Yeah,
easily be the case. But like at the end of the day, like what they're trying to do is make something that a lot of people will enjoy. And so, and even like to that note, like there's so many people involved in, getting it to the point where it gets to the screen, and whether or not it actually hits or appeals to that mass audience. Like I
yeah,
know that artists really, went out there and put their blood, sweat, and tears and hours,
sure,
into their craft to give you the best experience possible.
sure. Um, I want to talk about some of the work that you've done. Um, you have worked at major studios, Warner Brothers, Marvel, Nickelodeon, which is that's current for you? Is Nickelodeon?
Yes, that's brand new. It's brand new. I just started at
Um,
Nick last month.
okay. Um, when you Are you surprised by your own resume?
Yeah, I think so. I think, right now, today, like I have had kind of time to kind of look at, my trajectory and be like, oh, okay, like this is where I should be. But
Yeah.
even inside of that, like I think, you know, I make sure I take a minute, regularly to be like, yo, I came from, PG County public schools, where they were like, yeah, don't draw. That's not really, do
Right.
be a graphic designer at best,
Yeah. Yeah.
to being part of some of like the biggest like franchises, um, out there at all. Period. You know,
Yeah, no
like
doubt.
I think that's like it's a huge thing, and like I try to take some time and just like be like, yeah, that's kind of dope. You
Kind of
know,
soak it all in.
yeah, yeah.
Um, eh, sit there, puff that chest,
Yeah.
Jerry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead, you know what I mean? It's cool. Walk on them a little bit. Hey, listen, I'm
Deserve it.
I was thinking about this the other day, right? As I was just kind of mentally getting into kind of some of what I want to talk about with, with you while you're here. And I started going through just fanboys versus zombies, and just some of that.
Yeah,
Just
the
started
classic.
going through some stuff,
Oh
right?
yes.
And I was really thinking, like, I was like, you know what? I wonder if Jerry just really like. Are you at a point now where like there's stuff that you're just like, if you're, going for something, are there things you just eliminate from your resume? Like, there's a part of me that's like, when you look at certain things you've done, sometimes you just want to put all of it. Yeah, look at all of what I done did, right? But like, are you at a point like if they do say that you should have multiple resumes, right? And that you should tweak your resume for the the job you're attempting to go for. But like when you're looking at stuff like that, are there things that you just like, yeah, that doesn't really need to be there anymore? Like, I'm proud of it, it's not whatever, but that doesn't necessarily need to be there anymore. Do you have that at all?
Yeah, I mean, like you have to curate your resume. I mean, people, in like TV and film anime, like they don't care what about fanboys versus zombies. They don't like the skills aren't one to one with what they're asking me to do. So like it's not helpful.
Right.
Like to look back at some of that stuff. Like sometimes I'll pick up like a graphic or like see something on the internet and I'll be like, oh wow, that was whoo. I thought I was doing something, but and then other times like I'll look back and I'll be like, there it is right there, like that was it. But I most of it I'm pretty proud of, but it doesn't a lot of it doesn't really translate to what I'm doing now.
Sure.
And then even with the stuff that I've recently done with DC, I don't think that I don't think the fanboy stuff really had a big deal to do with it. Maybe it did. I can't say for sure. I think it was more networking and kind of other things that I was doing, more like the stuff that Identity Comics was doing, like our pitches and that kind of stuff. That's what I think. But, yeah. So I mean, it's just it gets to a point where some like that stuff is old. It's just old.
Yeah.
It's just old.
Yeah. Are there times when you look at your list of accomplishments, your resume, and you're surprised, or look at maybe where you are in the industry, and there's I have all this stuff on my resume, and I'm black. Like, does that play it like when you look at it? Do you ever think about that in terms of like whether you feel like it's held you back in any way, or in some cases maybe has it helped? Like when you think about stuff like what DC's doing with like the Milestone Initiative and that kind of stuff, like are there any of those kinds of things that stand out for you?
Well, so hold on. Like, you go back to one question. So I just realized there is stuff that I've done in TV that is not like necessarily on my resume. Like, I'm not sure. I don't think the Scooby Doo stuff is on my resume right now because it's not it's not relevant. And maybe there's like a couple other things, but as far as like being a Black artist, I don't think that I've run into like any doors closing on me because of that. I think, it's, if anything, lately, I think studios have been looking to add diversity, and so I think I've benefited from that.
Yeah.
And then like my own kind of networking and all that kind of stuff, and I definitely I feel like I'm collecting all the creators of color, like particularly the Black ones. I definitely I'm building relationships that way. So
that was kind of going to be my next question, was just about like how do you view diversity within the industry that you're in? That's why I guess why I asked you how you categorize you're working in industry. How do you diversity where you
I mean, I think it really comes on a case by case basis. I think my time at Marvel, like while I was there, was like super diverse. So I was really fortunate there, and like my experiences have been pretty good. So I don't have like a bunch of like negative things like in that regard, but at the same time, like I know that my experience has been rather unique. It's just been different. It's just been different.
I mean, without necessarily getting in particulars, I mean, have you heard stories from other people where it seems like maybe they haven't been as fortunate?
Oh, sure. I mean, I know, like, even myself, like, I've been on productions where, there weren't a lot of people of color, particularly not a lot of Black people. Like, I may have been, like, one of a handful. And that's definitely something that I hear from other artists. And I think that, again, like, recently, that has started to change a little bit. And then, we'll kind of see going forward, does that continue to move? Does it take a step back? Like, where do we end up? Who knows?
Penny said it's really good to hear the studios are generally trying to some degree to diversify. I agree. 100%.
I think they are. And I know, I know quite a few, Black recruiters out there, or just recruiters of color, and they're they're doing their best to make sure that we are represented.
Do you ever feel a sense of pressure at all to like if you're storyboarding, if you're creating, when you do character design, is it just natural for you to diversify? What's up, Kid?
Kid leg.
Is it natural that maybe you draw in background characters that are, so if you're given something to work on and those characters are established characters, does it maybe change the way that you do backgrounds or background artists or any of that kind of stuff? Is that a thing for you? Does it just kind of come naturally, or do you ever feel any pressure to kind of just push something or sneak something in there?
I don't feel pressure, but like if I have an opportunity to add people of color, then I will. If something kind of comes up and there's an opportunity for me to speak up and say, hey, this is happening, and it's something that is within my power to contribute to, then absolutely. I don't feel pressure. I just pressure's not the word. I'm not even sure what the word is. It's just,
is it like a is there a responsibility, or just like, or again, it's just natural for you, like you just
Yeah, I mean, I recognize the responsibility, but it's more like I guess it's natural, but it's like I I don't, maybe not natural because it's something that I might notice, a lack, and so I'm like, let's fix
Let's
it
add
if
a
we
little
can.
something in here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How often do you sneak yourself into the background and stuff?
Apparently
You know
that
what?
laugh. Yep. That laugh said
I
it
have
all.
in the animation stuff. Like as a board artist, like I'm not in charge of design, so like I
Yeah,
don't have,
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I just look, man. Just give me a number, dog. You ain't got it like.
Try to put it.
He sprinkled in some backgrounds.
Uh-huh.
Well,
See that real good looking guy back there in the background? Yeah, that's just the thought right there.
I can tell you that me,
Hold
Penny, and
up,
Flash
nope,
are,
put on the spot.
are for sure in every.
You gotta say like all the time.
Yes, yeah. Penny said all the time, bro. I like it. All right, so look, let's be fair.
Yeah.
How often do you sneak Penny into the background and stuff?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's pretty regular.
All the time.
Yeah, it's pretty regular.
All the
It's
time.
pretty regular.
Dope.
Sometimes I have to be like, oh wait, it can't be two of her in this one panel.
All right,
But yeah, for sure.
All right, so
honestly, it's more like we kind of show up like when I'm doing character design stuff, like we show up regularly.
Yeah,
like that's when I really am like, yeah, we in there.
I dig it. I dig that, man. I think that's dope, and I love that you get an opportunity to do that. And you know what I mean. I love what you're doing. Let's talk about whatever we actually can talk about what you're working on now. We don't do. Look, Wayne Tech is known for coming in here and shutting us down.
What?
It knows
us, bro. They'll take this whole thing off the internet.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know for sure what I'm allowed to say about what I'm doing in Nickelodeon, so I'm just going to steer away from all of that. Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's something cool. It's something I'm
about to
excited
say
about.
that means he's working on something good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, of course it is. But,
yeah. Passionate about whatever it is.
I'm excited. I think y'all will be excited. So
okay.
Yeah.
We'll be waiting for that announcement with bells on. Yeah, that's real.
Definitely,
and that goes for almost any of the last few statements. Sneaking yourself in, sneaking Penny in, putting anybody else in, being proud of what you did, like all of it, as you should. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Straight up.
But you know what? The DC announced the Clark and Lex graphic novel. So I mean, I can't really speak on like TV stuff, but
that's popping right now.
Yeah.
When that didn't drop yet though, right?
It's not out yet, but it's going to be part of DC's preview for Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like a double-sided book, and like one side is Clark and Lex, and the other side is like a Batman thing.
And that's I want to say I saw October, but maybe that's not right.
October is that's Penny's book. Penny's book is coming out. Diana. And
that joint's I already pre-ordered that joint.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that one's about like a young Wonder Woman. That one will be out in October. My book will be out, I believe, in August.
Okay, so a little sooner.
Yeah,
I'm with it, 100%. What's that like? Listen, I know Superman is your guy.
yeah, definitely.
Hey, is there a rule to follow where the design has them at certain movies that are coming out? So it
depends. That depends on the project.
Okay.
You know, different projects have different things going on. The books that I have worked on or am working on at DC, like that hasn't been an issue. Like in fact the designs in Clark and Lex are brand new, original. Like I made them up. Or I might have been like, Penny, what you think about these? And she might have thrown me like a bunch of designs, and I was like, those are great, and I went with those. And then
Case said, true.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so wait, I lost my track. That question got me.
You were just saying like they were asking if if you have to have designs that match like what's current with the movies, which again could be a thing. I know that the announcement for DC was that like they're gonna have things that are tied, movies, animation, and TV, and that's all gonna kind of be tied together. And so I can see maybe something with that. I didn't see anything about books being tied to any of that stuff, but I can see something like that coming in the future.
This is completely different. I worked on this book for like 2 years.
Wow.
So like I finished it. I finished the book before the buyout happened. No, was it before? It wasn't before. It was. I think it was like during all that stuff. It was a long process.
Yeah.
But I finished the book before any of the stuff happened recently with James Gunn
and all that. Okay.
Any of the movie stuff. Yeah.
Was that? I mean, look again. I know Superman is your guy, and is long term. So like, how was it? Relaxing, chill.
I know this is an awesome parallel as usual going on right now.
Always with Jerry and Superman. I love Jerry to death. I just hate Superman.
Yeah, I get it. Hey, listen, I get it.
Yeah.
But like, look, I imagine that so much of what you're doing does qualify in like the dream come true category. But like being able to work on a Superman book, being able to design characters, right, that fall into that, like where does that sit for you in terms of like that dream come true pantheon?
It's right up there. Like this is it. I think like this book. I'll tell you the reason why I did it is because like this is like a Superman book. It's part of the Superman like mythos. It's his own story, but it's those characters, right? It's like Clark Kent, Lex Luthor, all the visual input, like it's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's hard to even really it's hard to describe it, but it's like, we made it. We here, we did it.
Yeah. Have you been given a project, given the okay for a project, or seen like the final product of a project that you worked on and like cried? Like, have you had those? Have you had one of those yet? Is that a thing?
That hasn't happened. I can't. I don't even know. I don't know what it would take for that to happen. I mean, again, like the Superman book is not in my hands.
Sure.
The X-Men, I'm really, really excited about it. Like when people are able to see that, like when that hits Disney Plus, like that'll be like big.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like that was. I think that has maybe felt bigger because it's like it's on such a grand scale. It's a thing that I love so much.
Yeah.
And then like I got to work on What If a little bit. So yeah, I mean, like all of these projects have been like the kind of stuff that I'm just like, well, I can hang it up now.
Nah, sir. Don't do that, Brian. Don't do that.
Still got some gas.
Don't hang it up just yet, man. Listen, we can talk for as long as you want about you. We could put you on a pedestal. Like I'm down. We can do it all day. I have one like serious question left. I want to know, do you want to write a Superman story?
Yeah, I think I definitely do. I probably
have something in your head already.
Oh man, like in my head, like I have it all. Like I actually, what I would want to do is like a series, like a series, like an animated series, like that would be dope. Like I would do like a short, like a short comic book story, like something that was like really super contained, maybe like 20 pages or less. Like that would be like really cool. But like I actually have like this idea for like a Superman family animated series that I know like it would just never happen. It would just never happen. Like
it's not going.
Yeah. Like my idea like basically would be to take I know y'all probably I know y'all are not like huge like Superman fans, but
hey, if Sin writes it, I mean, hey, a lot of people
don't slip up my writing, man. Hold up, man. I can probably do something with it. Y'all may not like it.
It don't matter. You gonna kill Superman in the first panel of it.
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna make Superman go through hell. Trust me.
Bet you would.
I've been in meetings all day. This joint was
just light was on all day.
That's it.
Yeah. That's all good. I mean, we can see
gave out,
but
it's like your concept sounds dope when it comes to that, Jerry. I mean, Superman and Lois is popular, you know what I mean? So people want to see more of him and his family. So definitely.
Yeah. Like my idea would be like there's a story that came out a while back called Our Worlds at War. And it had Superman and like the Superman family and other DC characters as well, like fighting, essentially like a war with like Darkseid and Brainiac and this big, world conquering character called Emperor X. Yeah. And like I would kind of take that, and then Superman has a son now, so like I would put a younger version of him, like kind of like around like the age that he is in the most recent was it the Super Sons movie just came out?
Yeah.
And then Crypto and Steel and Supergirl, Natasha Irons. I would take all those characters and put them in it and send them out into space, fighting this war. I would bring Lois and Jimmy in, like they're field reporters, like it's a war, so they're reporting on the war. It gives them something really exciting to do. And then
I mean, listen, don't spill it all, because
I know Rick.
Stuff.
There's other ears listening, and they're like,
hey. Wayne take that and be like,
I mean, like that's that's just the character.
I dig it. Hey, y'all heard it here first, just in case y'all see or hear something similar to what Jerry just did. Remember, that was Jerry's idea.
100%. It's copywritten right now. That's how that works. Hey, look, Jerry, I want to make sure that people, know they can follow you. So I got your link tree up on the top of the screen. Everybody who's hanging out in the chat, please make sure you hit the link tree. Follow Jerry's socials. Jerry is an awesome dude doing some awesome things. You won't be upset or disappointed if you follow the guy. Jerry's the guy.
And thank you.
God.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Listen, we're going to talk about some news. My man Alfonso said we need better Superman stories. I agree. Because here's the thing. I've said many times how I feel about Superman on this show and in various other places. So has Sin.
Mm-hmm.
But I trust Jerry. I feel like if Jerry did a Superman story, I could possibly buy in. You know what I'm saying? Like I trust it.
Yeah, I think it's all about the character. It's like at the end of the day, like Superman he's a guy that just wants to do the right thing. Honestly, like I think about Superman is like not so different than like how I see like my dad or how I think like I think of him like as like a father figure. You know what I mean? Like so he would be like that kind of character. And so he's like super relatable. Like I get it.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's not always easy to be the guy that tries to make the right decision. A lot of times it's easier to do the thing that, is not the right thing. Mm-hmm. It tends to be easier to do that a lot of times. So, I mean, I get it, man. I dig it. Listen, what we're not going to do is fight about Superman on this episode.
And I appreciate that.
But we could do a special one-off joint, bro. Like, yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah, I just keep my shit. Yeah.
Put two of them versus you. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Exactly. Freaky. So listen, before we actually start getting into some news, all right, so look, so over the weekend, there was a convention that we chose not to go to. Isn't that right, Sam?
Oh yes, that would be Katsu.
That would be KatsuCon.
Mm-hmm.
We made a decision, decided we weren't going. However, I have to show y'all this.
Okay.
So I've been, we follow all the people, everybody who was there.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the highlights, checking out the cosplay, feeling what's popping. I saw one joint, and I was like, oh. I just everybody. I need to know who this is. I don't know who shot the image. I need to find out. I need y'all to track it down, and I'm getting ready to show it to you. Are you ready?
I think I might have an idea, but okay.
All right. I mean, you already know. Don't worry about it. But listen. You see this?
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's fantastic.
Hey, dog, with the extra long receipt, dog.
Hey, look, CBS needs to give her a sponsorship or something. This is too amazing.
That joint is incredible.
I didn't even peep the leggings until this picture. Like,
oh yeah,
like the leggings.
Hey, listen.
CBS on the shirt, the mask. Like it's all a CVS bag she's carrying. Like
straight up. I'm with everything except the Crocs.
I knew he was gonna say.
He's like,
get them out of here.
Brace the immersion.
But that joint was tight, bro.
That was.
Like I'm looking at how long that train was, and the fact that joint is like an actual receipt.
That joint's a legit receipt. Had to go in the store. Hey, look, just buy like 3 things. Just remember, the receipt's going to be ridiculously long. We don't need it too long. So just
it doesn't matter. No, you go into CVS, buy a pack of gum. Your receipt look like that. Like that receipt, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I thought that joint was dope.
Incredible.
I don't know if Harry took that one, but I do know Harry got some good shots.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He didn't take that one. He definitely didn't take that one.
Yeah. But that was great.
Yeah, that joint was dope. And here's the thing. Katsu had record numbers. It was crazy in there. I'm positive some people are sick right now. Positive.
Easy.
Oh, no doubt.
Gotta be.
Positive.
Beyond crap, bro. Like just
nah, they got COVID sick.
Oh boy.
I'm sure.
Hey,
he joins after
DC fanboy himself.
The DC fanboy himself comes in right after all the DC talk.
Right.
Over. Good job, Party Ty.
Yo,
Perp. What up, Perp?
All right, so look. I saw this, and we need to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Didn't they already do this?
Turtles versus Street Fighter, bruh. It is it's a 5-book series. It's 5 issues. And I have questions. But I'm gonna read a little bit about what it says is happening with this.
Okay.
So just to give you like a quick synopsis, right? Donnie, Mikey, Leo, and Raph, and Jenica. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
That's the new. I think that's the new female turtle with the claws.
You can have it. They trek to Atlantic City.
Oh,
up the street. You know what I mean?
Street.
It
know the one that makes me laugh. Atlantic City.
It doesn't make sense. The Street Fighter will wash the turtles, and we're gonna have a talk about that in a second. Perp. We're gonna talk about that in a second. They trek to Atlantic City to fight in a martial arts competition, and upon their arrival, they find out they'll be facing off against another talented group of fighters: Street Fighters Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, and Guile. And while tensions between the groups initially run high, they're forced to team up to solve a case of a mysterious string of disappearances. Perp says, I predict that at the end, the Street Fighters and the Turtles will fight Bison and Master Splinter. I mean, they gonna fight somebody.
They're gonna fight Bison and Shredder.
Maybe not Splinter. You mean Shredder?
Shredder. Yeah.
Listen,
Shredder. Ellis.
I wish I could take credit.
TMNT, My Little Pony, TMNT, and Rugrats. Who's managing this life? Joe?
I wish I could take credit for it.
Let me tell you something. Here's one.
Yeah, that's the one with the yellow, the sister, the whatever, the female. Yeah.
I meant Shredder. My bad.
All right, look.
That makes more sense, Perp. Thank you.
I remember when they had Venus.
Mm-hmm.
Was the female turtle at that, we let that go. We're not just making up turtles. I'm not with it right now. Like, we're not just having a sister bot, but okay, I mean, it is what it is. All right, look, a crossover like this only makes sense right now because it's Ninja Turtles and they cross over with everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Now, Perp said Street Fighters will wash the Ninja Turtles. Is Perp right?
Yes.
I mean,
probably so.
So hold on. We're gonna do some math here.
We're gonna map this.
Yeah. Because Batman
dog walked. Dog walked.
The Ninja Turtles. And Jai gave Shredder a run.
Mm-hmm. But that's Batman. He gets.
Hold on.
He had prep time.
Continue.
Can Ryu beat Batman?
Whoa. Wait,
I'm trying to remember. Did Bat and the Son do that? No, they didn't do that.
Off my first initial instinct, I'm going with yes.
Ryu beats Batman.
Wait. We're just giving that away like that. I don't know. I can't.
Like I said, my first, without even thinking it through, my first just reaction was yes.
Okay.
I think my first definitive has to be no.
Even Ryu,
All right. Sis says yes. Jerry says no. Jokes.
I'm gonna
Ryu
say
and Batman. Pick one.
See the size of Ryu's feet?
That don't mean nothing.
No, he landed.
Batman got something for that.
He landed with them hooves on him, dog. He going to sleep.
Listen, if Batman and Ryu live
probably
in the
gonna have to
same
go with
universe,
Batman.
Then Batman already knows how to beat Ryu. Like he before, because they're fighting in a controlled environment. It's over before
in a tournament. It's I don't know.
Tournament means Batman had prep time.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying.
That means he had prep time.
He watched game film. He watched footage.
He been knew who he was. It's not like they were facing Jerry Gaylord Superman. No sir. All right. So what? All right. Is there a Street Fighter Batman can't beat?
That's hard to say.
There's nobody Batman can beat, right? So this is why.
That's why you got your Batman.
I want to say Psycho Ken, but
dog.
Yeah, Batman gets cheat codes. So
he does. All right, so I'm just gonna switch up the scenario a little bit, just for me, so I can make it fair. Batman just showed, Ryu just showed up, and he's like, "I don't like your kicks," and they start wrecking. Then Ryu wins.
Sure,
easy. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is the one caveat with Batman. Always, anytime you put him against anybody, the first thing is, does he have prep time?
Yep, prep time.
Does he know who they are already? Has he been studying their universe from his cave for
Yeah,
I don't know, because I'm trying to remember.
That's why that is my biggest issue with Batman, is that they just he has the most plot armor on the planet.
I think that wasn't the case with the Turtles. The Turtles just showed up, and then he gave
him that work.
And that's the thing. Think he is apparently a ninja. Batman is a ninja.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, but not really. But come on. Batman beat Mortal Kombat characters, right? I mean, Mortal Kombat characters beat Batman though. But that I don't know that he get
I don't know if you can count Injustice per se. I don't know.
You give Batman the business.
Hey, look. I'm not mad because one of the greatest action scenes of all time is Chun-Li versus Vega. Like,
what Vega got to do with Batman?
I think just
because listen,
nobody. It's prep time.
I didn't ask if Guile could be Batman because we already know. No. Nobody's gonna say Guile. Nobody.
Guy gonna get dog walked by Batman.
Why would you? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look. All right, so the Ninja Turtles can't beat Batman. I'm gonna say they maybe can't beat the Street Fighters. I'm gonna say they can't beat Ryu.
Yeah, they can't.
They can't be Ryu. They can't be Ken.
I mean, listen, but this is the thing. But Ken and Ryu not ninjas.
No, they just asked me.
What happened to ninjas? Remember when ninjas were like the most unstoppable?
Coolest? Yes.
Like, dog, what happened to ninjas?
Hey,
dog,
we grew up
right now.
You know what? Because ninjas got Michael Dudikoff in their roster.
You don't count the American ninjas.
they got three ninjas in their roster. They got surf ninjas in their roster. They got a couple iffy
messed
joints.
It up.
Yeah,
they messed it up.
The surf ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got
some bad points in their column.
Because for real, Ninja Turtles the only real ninjas left.
They're Daredevil, right?
Besides a couple one-offs, yeah.
Is Daredevil a ninja?
I think he has to be because essentially, if you like, Ninja Turtles are Daredevil and X-Men put together. So,
I mean, all right.
Oh God,
it is, yo. 3 ninjas fire. Don't sleep on Rocky. That's what you said.
You know what?
Chun-Li versus Vega. Chun-Li versus Vega. One of the best action.
I feel like Chun-Li and Ryu could probably both be Batman. I feel strong about that, but not
now. I'm trying to remember. I feel like.
So I did need some clarification. You don't think Ken could be Batman, but you do think Chun-Li could be Batman. So you got Chun-Li over Ken.
Yeah. Well, it's because I think.
Relax. You okay? You almost broke your seat.
I just
blasphemy.
The difference between Ken and Ryu is that Ryu is like focused. Like that's his thing.
Sure.
And I feel like in order for Ken to beat Batman, he would have to be more focused than he is.
Okay,
like that. That's how I see the characters.
There's a little bit of like the fact that like Chun-Li is like an Interpol agent that like and Batman is a detective. That there's maybe some
that would be cool to just to see that a little bit of that play out the detective side of both of them.
Yeah,
but she still might give him the business at the end.
If Ryu backs himself into a corner, he gonna get the Morpher back from Power Rangers and to the Ryu Ranger.
I mean, look, fighters all have projectiles and like special moves and stuff like that, right? That the Ninja Turtles don't have, but the Ninja Turtles got weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Batman got each other.
I just don't think like they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? They're they're kids. They're kids. Like you're asking me if these kids that have been training can beat Ryu.
Yeah, I mean, at this point they actually have Akuma Solo.
Yeah. That ain't even up for debate.
Nah, you know what? There is that, right? The Turtles are kids. They're teenagers.
Yeah.
And that I think does give the Street Fighters an advantage. Right? Because the Turtles train, but they don't fight like all the time. You know what I mean? Like they train, but that's the thing. Like they ninjas, so they're not necessarily trained to one-on-one fight you. So the fact that they're even showing up to be in a tournament is kind of like, this is not what you do. Like,
they're like to crack jokes and piggyback off each other and all that type of stuff.
Nah, they're about that life.
This is one-on-one, Slim. Like it's all about the hands.
We do this on a daily basis.
Yeah.
All right, so call it now. Who's the first Street Fighter to share pizza with the Ninja Turtles?
Oh, wow.
Who are the ones fighting?
It's Ryu. Mm-hmm. They don't say who's fighting who. It just says
like in the picture. Who they have? It was.
Oh, you want to say him?
Yeah,
it's Ken.
I go Ken. I think it's Ken.
Yeah, it's Ken. Yeah, Ken. Yeah, Ken.
Straight up.
Ryu was last.
Yeah, I mean, like pizza's probably not his thing.
Yeah, it's
he's gonna be sitting off to the side and his stomach going ground, just give me a piece of that pizza.
Yeah, I was like Ken, Gao, Chun-Li, then Ryu to share pizza.
All right, so look, one more question as it pertains to this: are the Ninja Turtles going to show up as characters in some way in Street Fighter 6?
After seeing that, I'm not surprised if they do.
Right, Perk. Ken.
Oh, it would be cool. I'm still waiting on one of the damn Power Rangers to show up in the Street Fighter. Still haven't seen that happen yet, but it wouldn't surprise me.
That'll be easier to I guess figure out once we get our hands on the game and see how like character creation is and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think it's far-fetched to think the Ninja Turtles or like you say the Power Rangers would show up in some way.
They showed up in Injustice and
yeah.
I mean after doing the Batman crossover stuff, so
yeah.
It would only be right, I feel like, at this point for them to show up in Street Fighter if they now that this crossover is a real thing.
Yeah,
it could happen. I don't know if I'd be happy with it, but we see what they come up with.
Yeah.
All right, so are they a single character, or do all of them individually show up? I might say
individually show up.
Facts. Dan don't got no choice but to eat pizza because he ain't winning.
Either have to say Dan. I'm gonna go with they show up individually just to do something different from Mortal Kombat.
All right.
I think just to differentiate yourselves from them.
All right.
The probably show up as a squad.
Let's keep our eyes on it. All right, look, let's talk about a little bit about what's going on with this Xbox Activision thing again, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox had a meeting today they had like a conference today in Brussels. It wasn't live, but during the conference, this whole thing with the CMA and all that is going on. They announced 10-year partnerships with NVIDIA. So let's pop that on the screen. So Phil Spencer tweeted, "We have signed a 10-year agreement with NVIDIA that will allow GeForce Now players to stream Xbox PC games as well as Activision Blizzard PC titles, including Call of Duty. Following the acquisition, we're committed to bringing more games to more people, however they choose to play." And then there was also this. Now, Brad Smith is one of the CEOs at Microsoft. And this wasn't the first time we've seen a thing with them saying that they offered it to Nintendo, but we've now signed a binding 10-year contract to bring Xbox games to Nintendo's gamers. This is just part of our commitment to bring Xbox games and Activision titles like Call of Duty to more players and more platforms. Now, without getting specifically into the like in the post itself, it says that Microsoft and Nintendo have now negotiated and signed a binding 10-year legal agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo players. What happened is people saw this tweet from Brad Smith specifically saying bring Xbox games, and people started going off. So does that mean other stuff? Is Game Pass going to end up on Switch? Yeah. That kind of thing. And he did do some clarification that it really is about Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
More than it is anything else, but it is to continue what they've already done with stuff like Minecraft and stuff.
It opens the door. It opens the door even further.
Exactly.
But it does absolutely open the door. And so recently there've been more. We know the on our side here, they've kind of pushed back, decided to sue Microsoft for attempting that, for the acquisition. And outside of here, the EU, for the most part, they seem to let it go. Brazil had already, allowed it to go through. But this is a thing where Microsoft seems to have tried to team up with Nintendo and with NVIDIA, which are two powerhouses, when it comes to that, to kind of help on their side of saying, no, this acquisition should, in fact, go through. And there was a lot, and I mean a lot of like back and forth about like how many exclusive titles that PlayStation has versus how many exclusive titles Xbox has, and look at who's that little buddy back there hanging out with you, Jerry?
Hey, you want to know what's going on in the streets?
Listen, welcome to the streets. You know all about it. Yeah, so there was a lot of back and forth today. I gotta pop Twitter because my man Tom Warren over at The Verge was like trying to kind of keep everybody up on what was going on. Mm-hmm. So one of his tweets says that Brad Smith said on Xbox cross-platform and exclusives, Microsoft has 58 games already running on PlayStation. Sony only has 2 games running on Xbox. We've said that if this acquisition goes through, we're happy to make sure there's a number 59 with Call of Duty and no doubt others. So I really want to kind of dig into this a little bit because not that we haven't talked about it before, but there's been some pushback, from the CMA about the acquisition. They actually made a statement like a week ago saying that like they felt like the acquisition was not good for gamers. And I think most people's who are really paying attention to what their job is, like if you're the FTC, if you're the CMA, your job is to protect consumers, not to protect the companies. And it really seems like there is a push to kind of like try to protect Sony from Microsoft, even though Sony owns the market share, right? They have like 80% of the market share. And Microsoft has technically not even really 20 because when they did the pie chart, it doesn't even have Nintendo in it, which almost doesn't make any sense, right? But they sort of play in different fields. Do you think it helps at all for them to seem to have the backing of Nintendo and Nvidia for their case for finalizing the acquisition with Activision?
Definitely. Nintendo specifically, being another Japanese company, I think from that standpoint is a good look on that side. But I definitely think, especially Nvidia, just like you said, like let's say, like obviously they don't specifically say anything about Game Pass or anything like that, but let's say that they're gonna make Game Pass more accessible to like say Steam Deck users without having to go through and doing like a whole normal Windows boot setup on there, but you'll just be able to have Game Pass on there and access those games as well too. Call of Duty is going to go into Game Pass inevitably at some point, whether it's the newest title or whether it's an older title, it's inevitable for it.
Yeah.
And if you eventually put that on, the question I would say is, let's say on the Nintendo side, with the Switch, the way that it currently is right now, Call of Duty on the Switch scares me.
Sure. Like, how's that going to play? How does it work?
Right. So outside of using the cloud, like if we put Call of Duty in the cloud and allow Nintendo to access that, but I would hope this would push Nintendo to also say, you know what? Now's the time. Maybe we are going to need to put a little bit more behind another console that would be able to push the likes of a Call of Duty. And let's say they get some more of the Microsoft first party game, like maybe like a Gears of War or something like this. Since we're playing in this now more mature realm with like a Call of Duty in there. But I think definitely Nvidia, Nintendo
have been on Nintendo consoles before. It's just that over like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years, right? Because the Wii U came out in 2013, right? So over like the last 10 years, there hasn't been a Call of Duty there because Nintendo either didn't have a console powerful enough, it didn't make sense, right? And Wii U just didn't sell anything, right? So, but I also think you might be selling Nintendo short because it's time for a new console.
Yep.
The Switch is 5 years old. We know Zelda's getting ready to come out. Zelda and Mario kind of kicked it off. Zelda definitely kicked it off. I mean, it dropped day one, right, with the Switch 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago at this point. And the hardware itself is old now. You know what I mean? Like there's like Pokemon can't run on that joint. Like there's just a little something that
the latest joint, like
terrible.
There's no, and oh my God, like the game that came out before it played way better.
Yep.
Right. I mean, look, Metroid Prime, which they shadow dropped, when they did, is like it's running great, but it's also like a 10-year-old. It's old.
10-year-old.
Older than that. It's older than that. That was on the original. It was on the Wii. So, but think about it. Witcher 3 is on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
The new Resident Evils are on the Switch. They stream though, right? So somewhere along the lines, right, Nintendo has been experimenting with using cloud technology to allow you to download a portion of the game, and you're streaming the game when you play it, right? So at this point, if they're doing that kind of a deal, I have to imagine that the use of Azure and Microsoft's cloud-based system is part of what Nintendo is agreeing to do this with, right? Because they're offering them something besides that. Mm-hmm. There's a 10-year deal. Like literally one of the things that he said is like, I literally walk around with a sealed envelope in my hand all the time. It's always on me of the offer that we made to PlayStation to put Call of Duty on there for 10 years, right? They offered the same thing to Steam. They offered it to Gabe Newell. And Gabe Newell said, I don't need a contract from them to have Call of Duty on Steam for 10 years. It only makes sense for them to put it on here. It only makes sense. I'm not worried about it, right? So there are these other companies that are backing it, and I understand why Sony is fighting that fight. I completely understand why Sony is fighting that fight. But a lot of what their argument is that it's bad. It'll be bad for gamers if Microsoft has control of Call of Duty, but forgetting King, forgetting Blizzard, forgetting, the rest of Activision with Tony Hawk and Crash Bandicoot and Pyro and all the rest of those franchises that have been Sony franchises forever, right?
We need this third-party game. We need this third-party game here to save our console sales and the latter end of the year when it comes time for it.
It really is the job of the CMA and the FTC to protect consumers and to make it more fair. Now, does that mean that a company that's $1 trillion company like Microsoft has an unfair advantage in being able to spend the money to just buy the stuff, right? Versus Sony having to kind of grow this stuff from the inside out, which is mostly what I think the rhetoric from the Sony side of the players is Microsoft hasn't been able to grow franchises, start from the ground up and grow franchises. They've been buying other companies that have, franchises or, that have franchises or whatever. It is, in my opinion, probably better that Microsoft is doing it than Saudi Arabia continuing to do it. Like they just bought another major stake in Nintendo, and Nintendo didn't even know it.
I'm like, how do y'all not know this? Like,
so like at this point, Nintendo almost has to go in and buy their own shares back to make sure that they can maintain control of their own company.
Yeah, the way that they like.
Yeah. At this point, Saudi Arabia is getting ready to slide in and own Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even, you know what I mean? Like
the Saudi, like just
it's kind of crazy.
The amount of money that they have that they can just throw around like this and put in and buy is absolutely insane. And not only talking about this, the fact that still WWE is a possibility of being purchased by Saudi Arabia, and that ain't no cheap ticket either.
Oh, wow. But they're buying up all kinds of stuff. Like there are companies that Saudi Arabia just owns, like out right now, that people don't even realize that they have ownership of those companies. And that, so having somebody who knows games, has their foot in gaming, has a 20-year plus history doing gaming, to me, is better than Amazon coming in and just buying up new studios, which would be who else could do it, right? It's better than, at least Google tried to start their own thing. Look, Amazon Luna is still a thing. I don't know if you realize it.
Has it outlasted Stadia at this point? Has it outlasted? Has it been around a little bit longer than Stadia, or have they been around about the same?
Maybe about the same, because I literally got an email from Amazon the other day that was like, you can play this for free on Luna, and I was like, oh yeah.
That still exists.
Like, simply because I have Amazon Prime. So I have Prime Gaming, so I have access to Luna. I just didn't buy the little controller. You're right, J. Robert Deans. They are trying to buy goodwill against their human rights problems, but it ain't necessarily going to. Here's the thing: the Saudi prince, love him, hate him, whatever, does actually love video games. And he has a lot of money. So he wants to buy and I just assume Slim likes wrestling too. So he's just like not that there's not opportunities to make money in this stuff, but he Slim is apparently a gamer, which maybe gives gamers a bad, but loves all this stuff. So for me, when I really look at the big picture, which again is Amazon, Alphabet, Meta, all of these other companies that have the kind of money that Microsoft has, aside from companies that are already buying stuff up, Tencent, Chinese company that's buying stakes and buying everything up and pulling ownership away. Embracer Group, which bought THQ and just continues to go in and buy stuff up. Netflix buying game studios. Companies that don't know anything about games, don't know anything about gaming, going in and buying up IP, buying up companies that own IP and stuff like that, to me, is worse for the industry
than Microsoft.
1,000 times over than Microsoft having ownership of it, right? Especially under the circumstances where Microsoft, again, as a company that is a multi-billion-dollar, a trillion-dollar company, really, right? That has been taking games that they own, and there are some exclusives, but allowing those games to continue to live in other people's ecosystems and just continue to reap the money that comes from doing that, right? It is in a lot of ways very much the difference in Apple and Android. And Android just kind of allowing things to exist and people to put things on it, and it more or less being open/free for people to use, where Apple continues to live in a closed environment and only want their own stuff. And it takes the same people, the EU and the CMA, to say, no, Apple, you have to do what everybody else is doing. The lightning port has to go. You got to do USB-C like everybody else does. You got to get on board, right? It takes that kind of thing.
Not yet.
Drake, you buy him yet? Buy him out, buddy.
Not yet.
It's I'm gonna tell you what. I think the deal's going through. I was a little questionable at one point. I think the deal's going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think it's bad. There was a time when Nintendo got sued because they were forcing people to sign exclusivity deals with them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you did a deal on the original NES/Famicom, when you did a deal, if you wanted to have your game on Nintendo, you had to sign a 2-year exclusivity deal. And they were eventually forced out of it, right? And had to start rewriting those contracts and allowing companies to go elsewhere, because they had, it was different because they had a monopoly, because you had to do the cartridges through them. You were only allowed to do 5 games. They kind of ran it. And when there was a chip shortage and they had promised people, companies that you're going to have this many cartridges. And they were like, no, well, you're not going to get that many cartridges. People were like, well, I want to make my own. And so they got sued by Atari and Tengen, and then Atari again. And eventually they had to open it up. And to be honest, in a lot of ways, if you look at what Sony's doing, they are, pushing people into contracts to specifically keep games away from
Microsoft and Nintendo.
It ain't even necessarily Nintendo, dog. It's really just Microsoft. This is like, you can't go into Game Pass. You can't be on Microsoft. Stuff will come out and get announced for being on PlayStation and being on Switch. And, Xbox is just left out of it. And
but yeah, PlayStation wants to throw their games in the Game Pass.
You're using your power. Well, no. PlayStation doesn't want to throw their. What are you talking about?
Are you talking about on PC?
No, MLB, the show.
Well, that doesn't have. But here's the thing. That doesn't have anything to do with Sony. That's not on them. So Sony owns the franchise, but MLB owns the license. So MLB is the one who made the decision that it's no longer going to remain exclusive to you. It's going on Xbox as well. That was an MLB decision. Trust me, Sony don't want that. Sony's not happy about that at all, right? but they have to be seeing what some of the benefits are because they're still getting paid for it in some manner, right? It's not published by them on Game Pass, on Xbox. On Sony, on PlayStation, it's published by Sony, but it's not published by them. It's like published by MLB. That was their decision. It ain't, yes, there are PlayStation games that exist on Game Pass, but it's not because Sony wants it that way. Like they want to do anything they can to keep that, to keep that from happening. And I understand that. I do understand that they're trying to protect their business model, right? Which is we have to sell consoles. Like in order for us to stay in business, we have to sell consoles. Their business model revolves around selling consoles and then selling the accessories that go with the consoles. And Microsoft's business model has shifted because it had to, because they couldn't outsell Sony. But they had the software know-how and the internet know-how, and now we've gotten to a place where people just stream games. They just, people aren't really doing physical like they used to anymore. It's almost gone, right? So they happen to have that in spades already. And to me, it would either be smarter for Sony to align themselves with Amazon, which again, they already have a contract with Amazon because PlayStation Network runs on Amazon.
Right.
Web services. So that, I will be talking to Bezos. I know you got this whole Luna thing going, but you know what I mean? Let's figure something out.
Figure this out,
right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man as a perfect example. Not even just the Spider-Man game that is the Spider-Man and the Miles Morales games that are on PlayStation, but Spider-Man as a character only being available in Avengers, in Marvel's Avengers on PlayStation.
It will never come to Xbox at this point.
And now that game is shutting down. And that was one of the things, if you looked at their fact, when they said they were shutting down, one of the questions in the fact was, is Spider-Man going to come, to other platforms? Because that includes PC too. There are PC players for that game. No, it's exclusive to those consoles, and they're not going to exist long enough to see it undone anyway. That's a consistent thing. And so because Sony has actively spent the money and worked behind the scenes to keep stuff off of Xbox, specifically 2-year exclusivity deals, 1-year exclusivity deals, or physically it can go over, but it can't go into Game Pass, or something like that. It either shows that they're desperate, right? And they really are. Again, I understand trying to protect your business model, but I honestly believe that their business model is antiquated. They got great games over there. They got the best games over there. There's not like you can't. There's no way to you can't argue that. Even if you love Halo, there hasn't been a good Halo game in probably
since 3
years.
Reach
yeah,
was
probably the end of the original trilogy. Yeah.
Oh, man, Reach was good.
Yeah,
that came out right now.
Yeah, but that was
Reach.
Still.
Yeah, Reach,
Yeah,
ODS,
so long
Halo 3. Those were the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo Reach came out in
100 years ago.
When the last time you played Reach, Jerry?
Hey.
Earlier this afternoon.
My man.
Okay.
My man.
Oh, Halo 3 gave us one of the best looking Xboxes out there with that special edition.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think there's a maybe there's a multiverse universe out there where this deal doesn't happen. I don't think there's anything that keeps this deal from going through.
This ain't the one.
Nah, especially with them announcing today, like the partnership with Nintendo, and that's coming there. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. Like, okay, y'all are confident that this is in the bag. Like, it is what it is at this point.
Them even having so there was a meeting today that was Jim Ryan. Let's say, or PlayStation have DLC that Xbox didn't have, or vice versa. Yeah, I mean,
they did that. Like they did it with Destiny. Destiny had a whole strikes and things that you could not access on Xbox.
Guns and everything. Yeah, you couldn't get the Hawk Moon, the Monte Carlo, none of that stuff for like a year
by
plus.
By the time you had access to it, the new DLC
was getting ready to come.
You didn't even. So it makes it. I mean, it's not worth playing at all, right? But again, you console sales matter, right? But like realistically, the way that they track the business now is players online, like your number of concurrent players online. That's how Steam tracks how well a game is doing. It's just that's what it is. So when you look at that as a whole, when you do something like that with Destiny, you really want, or when you do it with Call of Duty, and I think that's part of what the problem is for them, right? It's the idea that even if Microsoft does give full parity to Sony with Call of Duty, if Call of Duty goes into Game Pass and people don't have to pay $70 to play it on Xbox,
jump ship. Xbox it is.
Number of players that are playing Microsoft is absolutely going to shift. There's no two ways about it.
I take that back. You don't even need an Xbox. You just need your PC because Game Pass lives on there too.
Or
you
get a Samsung TV. Yep, and just log into the TV.
Play it on your TV and stream it, right? And you know that's going to roll out to other TVs and stuff besides Samsung's.
Yeah.
Or play it on your laptop, play it on your phone, play it on, you know what I mean? Like there are ways to do that kind of stuff. That I think is the big concern for them. I don't necessarily think it's total, because Call of Duty, if it's available on PlayStation, is still going to sell like gangbusters on PlayStation. It's still going to sell like crazy. But there's definitely going to be a dent with people who are like, all right, so I can pick up the Xbox Series S for $250 and spend $180 for a year, which is cheaper than 2 games now because games are $7. You know what I mean? Like,
Zelda is even going to be $70 at this point now on the Switch.
Zelda is $70.
$70.
Wait, didn't we pre-ordered that joint, right? You spent $70.
Oh, you met.
It'll be a fight if we go off the air.
No, I didn't know.
A lot of the stores, when it happened, they pulled their pre-orders off and re-put them back up.
Re-put the pre-orders back up, yeah.
So you may have got lucky. You may have got lucky because you pre-ordered early.
It just depends. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I just think I don't think there's a world where this deal doesn't go through. I think there may be some caveats that we see that they may have to do some things that are maybe a little different specifically for Sony. But I'm also beginning to think that, like, because other companies that have a high stake in gaming, right? From the PC side, it's Nvidia / Steam. On the Nintendo side, I mean, again, everybody knows and loves Nintendo. Nintendo's like, oh, yeah, we'll do the deal. You know what I mean? And again, you're right, Jokes. They're a Japanese company like Sony is, which, again, even though Sony is a Japanese company, they pulled their headquarters out of Japan like 10 years ago. They're literally like down the street from Microsoft in like Seattle. Nintendo's across the street from Microsoft in Seattle, like literally across the street. So, they know that a huge basis of their business comes from here and is in Europe. So I don't think the deal doesn't go through. I think there could be some caveats, some additional things that they have to do, you know what I mean, for Sony, specifically around Call of Duty. But, bruh, there's so much Diablo.
Yeah, I mean, that's gotta be that's gotta be good for gamers just because choice. Like, that's it. Like, more choices is better. Period.
Let you be able to play World of Warcraft at some point on an Xbox.
Oh yeah. Let you be able to stream it on your TV with Game Pass.
Yep.
Like, that's
whole influx of new people coming in. Yep.
Being able to reach more people with the same games, almost however you want to play, is
that's a win for gamers.
It really is. Like, if they could, I don't know. I haven't tried it. I could boot up the PS5 and go to the web browser and go to play.xbox.com and see if it'll let me stream directly through it. It's totally possible. I haven't tried it. You know what I mean?
That's all gonna brick your PlayStation.
But again, even then, like they show people playing with PlayStation controllers on tablets, like they don't, like, you know, play with the controller you want to play with. Just come in here and play games. Let's just play games. I think as a whole, it's better for the industry. I think it's better for gamers. I think it makes more gamers. You know, than anything else. And I think when you try to box people in, it's almost like what we just talked about the other day, where it's like we spend a lot of time telling people, yo, make sure you go to our Facebook and check us out. We got an anime chat. And if you love anime, go on Facebook and whatever, right? And I'm literally talking to, you know, two people at my job the other day, and they're like asking me about anime. And I'm like, yeah, we got an anime chat. We got a whole group, you know, You just go on Facebook. I mean, they looked at me like I was crazy. A Facebook? They like 20. They don't know, like they don't care about Facebook. They don't like Facebook. They don't want to do a Facebook. Facebook for old people. It just is. So I was like, yeah, they go on Discord like every Thursday and watch anime. I was like, oh yeah, we got Discord. Yeah, oh yeah, we'll jump in Discord. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Trying to force somebody into
because Discord gives me like
anxiety, doesn't it? Because it's so much stuff. Right,
single player characters is not the same old story. But hey, look at this though. They already said if it all goes through, they're going to shift that cycle of Call of Duty. So instead of us getting like a game each year, you'll get like 2 years. So that's going to give whichever studio stay in control of it more time to actually develop and get those out there for us. So there's definitely other wins in it as well too.
Yeah, because the idea of Microsoft having control of a studio like Sledgehammer, like if they just don't want to do a Call of Duty game anymore and they have these other ideas, other stuff that they want to do, the ability for them to go off and do something different, because now this company is going to do, you know, Call of Duty, and they have 3 years to develop a new one while there's still Warzone going on the whole time, right? So and we're going to allow Call of Duty to exist for 10 years doesn't necessarily mean you're getting 10 Call of Duty games, you know, across the board over the next 10 years. It could just be that Warzone continues to evolve into 3.0 and 4.0 and 5.0. And in the meantime, here's the new solo player, you know, campaign, or here's the new game, you know, that comes out. And maybe it's $70, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a shorter experience because those campaigns aren't super long. You know what I mean? And I've been saying for years that Call of Duty needed to separate their multiplayer from the single player. I would buy the single player for like $30. I don't want to pay them $60 or $70 because I'll never play the multiplayer. I don't care about that. Now maybe they'll have the ability to do something like that without somebody being like, no, we have to have a brand new Call of Duty every year. And even with that, and having 3 separate development houses working on Call of Duty, they have missed the mark over the last like 4 years, right? They had the one, the single player didn't work, so they only did multiplayer. And then finally they did Warzone, and then they had to bring somebody else in from another team to help them complete the last one. And even that didn't sell so well, but it still sells better than everything else that comes out every year and does it within a couple of months. And Call of Duty is a powerhouse. There's no two ways about it. But I'll take Tony Hawk on Game Pass.
Give me a new Tony Hawk.
Exactly. I'm not going to play Spyro. I'm not going to play Crash. I don't care about them. But, you know, again, those franchises did well on Nintendo's consoles. I'm imagining by next year, at some point, like next year, I'm thinking we get an announcement of a new Switch. Or a new Nintendo console. It might not be a Switch. Yes. They might not call it Switch or Switch 2 or whatever, but it's definitely time for a refresh. And I have to imagine that whatever it is that they go to do next,
it's going to be more powerful. It has to
be more powerful. Just consider what cell phones can run now, and the Switch is a cell phone. That's what's running it, is an ARM. It's cell phone processor. So if they do manage to keep something that is portable, which outside of the Steam Deck, they win hands down by having portable. I don't care. I don't play
portable. Get everything on the Steam Deck.
That's pretty much. You can pretty much
everything on the Steam Deck.
Yeah. So again, like but the price point for the Steam Deck is stupid. So if Nintendo comes in at like $300, $400, and it's better than what the Switch already is, and it's handheld. And they announced it with a new 3D Mario because we ain't had a Mario in the last 5 years.
Yeah, they out of here.
And they just opened Super Nintendo World and didn't announce a Mario game.
Yeah, they through the roof. Yeah.
And they about to drop a movie and they ain't announced a Mario game.
Speaking of which, I need to get over to that Mario lane.
Oh, bro. Yes, you do. And report back immediately.
Yeah.
You know I will. I think it's not.
I'm getting tired of seeing people who I don't know show me stuff.
That's because they not. I think it wasn't open to the. It's not open to the public yet, or it hasn't been.
I think it opens like this week technically to the public.
Yeah, March, I think. They that first week of March, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're doing all the previews. They need to stop playing.
Yeah, well, they just announced that they were bringing it to the joint in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Okay. That makes sense.
That bring it to Florida joint too. You know, they got one in Japan. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, when Nintendo's like, "Oh yeah, new Mario coming," and they be like, "Oh yeah, you can play it on the Switch and you can play it on the new," like, you know what I mean? And that joint could be powerful enough to run Call of Duty. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Will make a whole lot of sense. It's in.
Yo.
You all right?
Yeah.
You look like a Slytherin who wants to go back to Hogwarts right now.
Nah, just a long day. Just the sleepiness kicking in. That's all. But nah, I'm good.
Because I got y'all up late, so y'all can hang out with the West Coast.
Hey, bro, actually, this is normal. This is actually kind of normal. Like,
yeah.
You know, that's all good, man. I know it's only like 7 over there, but I'm sure it's time to get something to eat, Jerry. So,
sure.
You know, we don't want to hold you, you know, anymore. I said I eat every day. I hope you eat every day.
Right. That's kind of essential.
That's supposed to happen. Right. He was bragging. He was like, I eat everything. Over there on the East Coast.
Over here, we eat every day.
I eat every day. I got this Nickelodeon money. Y'all better stop playing with me.
No more ramen noodles, baby.
Hey, listen, Jerry, I greatly appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. I appreciate you taking the time. Again, thank you, Penny, for letting Jerry hang out with the fellas.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Listen, it's really great to see you guys. You know, you all doing so well and continuing to prosper. You know what I mean? I'm super happy for you. Again, thank you for taking the time. We got to get you back out here on the East Coast, man. We got to get y'all out here to Awesome Con. We're gonna talk offline.
Yeah, man. I heard things are changing. Y'all looking for an exciting Awesome Con this year.
I mean, listen, what I can tell you, it's the 10-year anniversary. Y'all need to be here. Yeah. We got to figure something out. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we got to figure something out. I ain't going to lie. We already working on something. Y'all just didn't know that yet. But,
okay.
I ain't even going to lie to you. But yeah, man, really, really, really great to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Again, Jerry's link tree is floating across the matter of fact, Joe, can you grab that and just drop that in the chat for me?
Let me see. Let me actually grab it.
I'm going to plug this joint, though.
Hey, listen, you know I got my copy.
Plug it.
You know what? Listen, hold on, because Jerry need that. Jerry need that. Like,
I'm say I ain't Jerry.
Yeah, that's hot off the presses. This week
it is hot off the presses. I got a couple copies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's hard to find. Is
it? Are y'all having trouble getting them?
Yeah, it's sold out at a bunch of places out here.
Oh, I like the challenge.
Really? I mean, that's good.
Yeah,
that's great. As a matter of fact,
definitely
I got in early. You need me to send you some copies? If I can get some, I need to send you some.
Oh man, no, don't worry about that. I mean, we you know, Penny's gonna talk to Penguin Random House and get some stuff, so we'll be all right.
I'm just asking.
But if not, you know, I'll hit you up.
If I see it in the streets and I need to just get it, you know what I mean? And I know what to do.
Just say word.
I mean, if you see a bunch of them, let me know. You know, I'll sell you. Boom.
Done deal. All right, I'm with it. I like how Jerry's now in the main joint. She-Hulk, woo, straight up. Yeah, that's dope. I'm glad y'all got to do that. I was glad to see it. I mean, I got mine in a day. Ordered it Friday, had it Saturday. Both of them Friday. Had them Saturday, and pre-ordered the Wonder Woman joint same day.
That's gonna be high fire.
Yeah,
that's gonna be high fire.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, look, I appreciate y'all support. Y'all always been big supporters of us, so I appreciate it. We try to support y'all back. Love you back, bro. Hey, Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You have a job to do.
Yes, sir.
You able to grab that link tree?
Oh, yeah, it's already up there. Yep, it's already in there.
I'll make sure y'all hit that link and follow Jerry across the board so you can keep up with his exploits because it's big things popping. You know what I mean? Little things stopping. Jokes now is putting up the Beacons link so that you all can follow us across the board everywhere. If you're young, go to our Discord. Go to our Discord.
Yeah.
I mean, our Instagram is there.
There you have it.
But like in terms of like being able to communicate with us and what have you, feel free to go to our Discord. You know what I mean? We had, there's things we still learning, shaking things up, trying to do things different. The link for the Discord is there every Thursday. Sin and Jokes jump in. They watch anime together. They do a little something called Thriller Park. What's wrong?
Jokes, you jump in every Thursday.
Shut up. Sin jumps in every Thursday.
Oh man,
with some other people. With some other admin.
Yeah, the rest of the anime chat squad. Yeah.
And and they watch some anime or whatever. It's cool, posting information and news and all that kind of stuff within the Discord, just like on the Facebook. So keep your eyes peeled there. Our Patreon is also there. That's what pays the bills, brings the money in. We appreciate you all. And on that note, Sin, you got a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, and Ellis Mbe. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
You all are the absolute best. Yes. Thank you so much for your love and support. We appreciate you. Sin, what's going on Thursday?
We're doing the finale of King's Game in Thriller Park. With next week, we're starting the new feature, Talentless Nana. That'll be our next month feature in Thriller Park. So yes, jump in with us and laugh and be intrigued by what we're watching. We give some funny insight to what we are watching. It's a good time.
We're watching next week. Y'all watching the Ill Nana?
It's called Talentless Nana. That's what the new feature is called next week.
Okay. Well,
it was Gabby's pick. We don't know nothing about it, but it falls in the perimeters
of
the park.
In the hip-hop world. All right.
So hey, yeah, King's Game, the finale this week, the last 2 or 3 episodes. I can't remember, but yeah. Thursday.
On that note, right? Yeah. How did you feel about Michael B. Jordan saying that he drew inspiration from Hajime no Ippo for Creed 3?
Hey, look,
now you gotta watch Creed 3.
Hey, look, that and My Hero. I'm not gonna lie, watching it
I want to see
Creed
like
3.
I haven't watched the others, and I feel like
neither have I.
What are y'all doing now watching these Creed movies? Like, hold on. What are we talking about?
Why
who am I even on this video call with?
Why do I need to watch it? I don't care.
What happened?
I can't even point in the words. Like I'm really shocked right
at this point.
Like,
really,
it's Killmonger versus Kang. So that's what I.
Yeah, at this point, like
Kang and Creed 3.
Hey, look,
sure.
Look, no, that's right. I was about to say something. I know you haven't seen Ant-Man yet. So
I haven't seen it yet.
They don't do that.
Yeah,
they don't do that.
Like it's like
I don't know any Marvel secrets anymore. I don't know nothing. He's
like, how about the loop?
I'm back on the outside, bro. Look at it. Hey, listen. So do we need to make Creed the movie club movie of the month next month?
I think we should.
All right,
damn. Well, it's gonna be out, but it don't make a difference.
That's cool. Hey, Creed 1 gonna be movie of the month next month. Speaking of the movie club movie of the month, next Monday we are having our discussion for the Loading Snacks Movie Club. the current movie of the month is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. Watch it. Tune in next Monday, 8 o'clock for our discussion on the movie. It's gonna be a good time. My man said, dude, they're Coogler. Come on, son.
Not the new one, right?
The new one is not, right? The new one is all.
No, the one's by Michael B. Jordan. It's directed by him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, which again could make a difference. If my man's like, oh, I was watching anime.
All right, I'm just about to sit down and watch these 2 movies this weekend. Just get ready to go see the third.
Next month. I guess that's what's going down.
I guess so.
Okay,
well, guess I'm catching them all through Creed this weekend. All right.
I like it. Okay, so I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much for doing so. Jerry, again, thank you for tuning in. All of you out there in chat land, you all are wonderful. You have been the best. Thank you for your questions and your comments and for hanging out with us. We truly, truly do love you. Jokes.
Yes, sir.
I have something very important that I want you to say. Close the show out.
Oh.
Close the show
Remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
That's a fact. With that, we're out. Toodles and Lose.
Loading snacks.